कार्विक गिरिधारी शिशि राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज शिल गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत शिशुमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत शिशुमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्रील गोरक्षरस बाबाजी महाराज की जाय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्ट श्रील सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जाय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्रील जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जाय। श्री रूपानु गौड़िया गुरु वार्ग की जाय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जाय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जाय। नाम अक्षय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जाय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदत्त गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंद की जाय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय। जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जाय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाय। श्री जैव-धर्म की जाय। श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जाय। हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जाय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि वो। Hare Krishna. Let's do the Mangala Charan and then we'll begin. Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Guruve namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Tividito Goriya Gurvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanai Maya Varati Mingilo Daragatan Udritya Jivaniman Krishna Prema Sudabdikahana Sukhang Pradat Prabhung Tang Bhaje Vande Bhakti Vinodangshi Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajang Radha Rasa Sudha Nidhim Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namane Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayang Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Vrishabhanusutan Vitavamatanum Yamuna Tatanagara Sutam Murali Kalagita Vinodaparam Bhajagodrumakanana Kunjavidum Smara Gaura Gadadara Kelikalam Bhava Gaura Gadadara Pakshachara Shrinu Gaura Gadadara Charukatang Bhaja Godrumakanana Kunjavidum Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Twang nayamang charanantikam bhaktya vihina aparada lakshai kshiptashtakamaदितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Pradumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, Sarveshwari Mataji, Nitai Mukeshji, Nri Hari Prabhu, and Bhavatarani Mataji, Gokuleshwari Didi, Suman Shilji, Premavati Didi, Haribo, and I'm guessing Indira Mataji is there. And I see there are 6 people on YouTube and Facebook. If you write a comment, I'll see your name. But Dandavat Pranams to all of you. Haribo. Okay, so we are continuing our reading of Sri Jaiva-dharma chapter 20. Today we'll complete the chapter. We are reading about the 64 limbs of bhakti. Yesterday the day before yesterday, we went through all the 64 limbs of bhakti, just going through in Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. We went through all the limbs, just reading what they are. And then yesterday we read Raghunath Das Babaji Maharaj's explanation of the first 10 limbs of the 64 limbs of bhakti. But first, before we begin, let's go over the first verse of Daśa-mūla-śikṣā. And also, I think I've mentioned this before, but if anybody has memorized this verse, you're always welcome to share it with me, your recitation of it. I always find that, for me personally, it's motivating when after I memorize a verse, if I'm able to share it with somebody. So I'm always happy to be that person for you. If you ever want to share any verses, I need to do the same. So far, Sarveshwari Mataji is the only person who's been sending me the Daśa-mūla Tattva verses, and but I need to do it myself actually. So Sarveshwari Mataji is ahead of me. Okay, okay. Daśa-mūla Tattva. Okay, so this is the introduction verse. Verse says, Amnaya Praha, our first before getting into any philosophical discussion, we have to first establish what is our praman. What do we use as evidence? And so for us, our evidence is amnaya. And the meaning of amnaya is the words of the Vedas, but not just the words of the Vedas, specific, because the Vedas have many different teachings for people on all different levels. Vedas have instructions for those on the mode of ignorance, those on the mode of passion, those on the mode of goodness, those, those related to karma, to gyan. But we're only interested in the teachings of the Vedas that are received in the Sat Sampradaya, through pure Guru Parampara. And those words of the Vedas coming through the Guru Parampara is known as Amnaya, Amnaya Vakya. That Amnaya establishes for us the 9 prameyas. Prameya means that which is proven by the praman, by the evidence. And so the first 3 prameyas relate to Sri Hari, the next 3 relate to the Jiva, and then the next one is how everything in existence is one and different from Sri Hari. And all that is on the topic of Sambandha. Then on the topic of Abhideya, it is our sadhana is Shuddha Bhakti, and on the topic of Prayojan, our sadhya is Krishna Prem, Tat Pritim. So the 3 related to Hari is that Hari is the Paramatattva, he is the Sarva Shakti, and he's a Rasabdim. That means he is the absolute truth, he is a possessor of all potencies, and he is an ocean of ras. And then the next 3 prameyas, which are related to the Jiva, are the Jivas are his separated parts and parcels, or his separated parts. So dad pina, and those jivas are of two types. There are those jivas who are his separated parts are of two types. They're the baddha jivas and mukta jivas. So the baddha jivas, they are the bound, the conditioned souls. They are prakriti kavalitan. They are swallowed by the material energy. And the mukta jivas, the liberated souls, are tad vimuktansh. They are free from that maya, from that material energy, prakriti. So let's recite the Sanskrit. Amnaya prahatatvam harimiha paramam sarvashakting rasabdhing tad bhinnangshangscha jivan prakriti kavalitan tad vimuktangscha bhavad Bheda bheda prakasham sakalamapi hare sadhanang shuddha bhakting sadhyang tat pritime vetyupadishati janan Gaurachandra Swayang Sa. Okay, so we already went over the meaning. I've been explaining the meaning before we go through the Sanskrit so that we know what we're saying when we're reciting the Sanskrit. All right, so now in this chapter 20 of Jaiva-dharma, where we've completed Sambandha Tattva, now we're on Abhideya Tattva, the means to attain the goal. And we're at the beginning of that, Vaidhī-sādhana-bhakti. So Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he explains the 64 angas of bhakti. The first 10 are the preliminary angas. The first 3 are the primary. But yeah, these are, and then the next 10, so verses, not verses, the angas 11 to 20 are the prohibitions. We're going to read the prohibitions today. And all these, from these first 10 preliminary angas and the next 10 prohibitions, they are all the entrance into the temple of bhakti. So this is all just like bringing us up to the point of full Sharanagati. Okay, so what are the first 3? I'm just looking in the book here. Actually, let's go through the first 10 very briefly. So, remember the first 3 are the most important, are like the 3 prominent ones in the preliminary angas. So the first one is taking shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Guru Padashraya. Then number 2 is taking initiation and instructions from Sri Guru. That's Guru, Diksha, and Shiksha. And the third one is serving Sri Guru with faith. It's Vishwas Purvak, so with faith, with Vishwas, with firm belief in the, then, Guru Seva. Then the next are 4 is following the path outlined by sadhus, sadhu marga anugaman. Then 5 is inquiring about Saddharma, or the procedures of bhajan. 6, renouncing all enjoyment of sense objects for Krishna's sake. 7, residing in dhams such as Dwarka and near to holy rivers such as the Ganga and Yamuna. And if you aren't able to live there physically, then at least by mind. We should always remember the dham, right? We can sing prayers to Giriraj Govardhan. We can do the Jayadvani, and in the morning time we can do Tulsi Parikrama, and like that. So then, 8, accepting only as much money and other facilities as are required to sustain one's life. 9, respecting Akadashi, Janmashtami, and other days related to Hari. And 10, offering respects to the Ashwata, Amalaki, and other sacred trees. Okay, so now the 10 prohibitions, we're going to read that now. I'm just going to jump to the chapter so that we can. Oh wait, no. Before I do that, yesterday when we were going through these verse 10, the first three were explained in a lot of detail. Raghunath Das Babaji explains. So, um, so we must take shelter of Sri Guru, but we have to understand first what is the qualification of Guru. So, how can a Sadguru be recognized? Only that person who is endowed with unalloyed bhakti, who knows the science of devotional service, who is bhakti tattvavit, and who is of spotless character, simple, without greed, free from the influence of Mayavad philosophy, an expert in all devotional activities. That person is qualified to be a guru. And then there are two, and then we should accept diksha and shiksha from guru. So what are the two types of guru? There are the diksha guru, the initiating spiritual master, who gives the mantras to the disciple, and the shiksha guru, or the instructing spiritual master. One has to accept mantra initiation, diksha, as well as shiksha, instruction, regarding the process of archan, deity worship from the diksha guru. There is one diksha guru, but there can be several shiksha gurus. The diksha guru is also competent to give instructions as shiksha guru. Then, under what circumstances should one give up one's guru? Before accepting a guru, this is directly from Jaiva-dharma. So before accepting a guru, one should examine him to see if he is expert in understanding, in his understanding of the tattva, and the fundamental principles regarding the absolute truth spoken of in the Vedas, and that he has realized the absolute truth, the absolute reality, the paratattva. If so, then he will certainly be capable of giving comprehensive instructions on all tattvas. Normally, there is no question of giving up the Diksha Guru. But a guru should be abandoned, however, if either of these two circumstances prevail. The first circumstance is the disciple may have accepted the guru without having first examined the guru's knowledge of tattva or whether or not the guru's qualities are befitting a Vaishnav, or without carefully observing the guru's other qualifications. Later, however, he may experience that his guru is unable to help him spiritually. One who is in this situation should give up that guru. Many passages in Shastra provide evidence of this. I'm not going to read the Sanskrit, but yeah, from Hari Bhakti Vilas, it says, both he who poses as an acharya, but who performs an act of injustice, that is, who gives instructions that are opposed to the Sattvata Shastras, the scriptures that elucidate pure bhakti, and the disciple who mistakenly listens to him will reside in a terrible hell for an unlimited period of time. Then in the Mahabharata and Narad Pancharatra, it says, it is indeed obligatory to reject a guru who does not know what is appropriate for the disciple, what is appropriate and what is not for the disciple, and who one finds to be on the wrong path, either because of bad association or because he is antagonistic to the Vaishnavas. And then this verse from Hari Bhakti Vilas, one goes to hell if he accepts mantras from a guru who is not a Vaishnava, that is, from one who associates with women and who is devoid of Krishna bhakti. If one has accepted mantras from such a false guru, according to the regulations of Shastra, one must receive the mantras again from a bona fide Vaishnava guru. Okay, so that is, this is the first circumstance in which one should abandon a guru. Now, the second circumstance is one's guru may be rejected if, due to the influence of bad association of asatsanga, he became a Mayavadi or an antagonist to the Vaishnavas, even if he was a Vaishnava when the disciple accepted him as his guru and was well versed in the principles of spiritual truth and tattva. It is actually one's duty to give up such a guru. However, if one has accepted a guru who is neither a Mayavadi, who is not antagonistic toward the Vaishnavas, nor attached to sinful activities, it is inappropriate to reject him simply because his spiritual knowledge is meager. That's interesting. It is inappropriate to reject him simply because his spiritual knowledge is meager. One should still respect him as guru, and with his permission, one should go to another exalted Vaishnav who is well versed in knowledge of spiritual truth and take initiation, take shiksha from him, serving him with one's full capacity. Okay, what are the two positive and negative um, underlying what principles of following the path of the saints? Sorry, I didn't read that right. What are the two positive and negative principles underlying Sadhu Marg Anugaman, following the path of saints? The previous Mahajans, following each other in succession, have made this path of Bhakti Yoga clear and simple, step by step. They have made it easy and they have removed all the obstacles, great and small, so we can follow it fearlessly. Therefore, it is one's duty to follow the path that the previous great personalities, the Mahajans, have followed, because this path is always free from misery and hard labor, and is the cause of all auspiciousness. No one person can perfectly define the course or path of devotion that one should follow. But the previous Mahajans, following each other in succession, have made this path of Bhakti Yoga clear and simple, step by step. They have made it easy and have removed all the obstacles, great and small, so that we can follow it fearlessly. Therefore, it is one's duty to depend only on that path. Even if one is performing single-pointed, undivided bhakti of Sri Hari, his bhakti can never bring any good fortune if he is violating the rules of Shruti, Smriti, the Puranas, and the Pancharatras. One should understand that such unauthorized bhakti will only be the cause of confusion and disaster. It will only cause utpat, disturbance. Okay, I'm just going to continue reading for this. Why is Sri Navadip Dham, because we don't have that much left to read in the chapter, so why is Sri Navadip Dham the most important among all the holy dhams on earth? Oh, one receives all the benefits of residing in Vrindavan if one resides anywhere within the 16 kroshas of Sri Navadip, and especially if one resides in Sri Mayapur. Ayodhya, Mathura, Gaya, Kashi, Kanchi, Avantika, and Dwarka are the seven holy places that give liberation. But among them, Sri Mayapur is the most important dham. The reason is that Sriman Mahaprabhu has caused his eternal abode Shvetadweep to descend here. 4 centuries after Sriman Mahaprabhu's appearance, this Shvetadweep will become the most important dham above all the other dhams on earth. By residing in this dham, one becomes free from all kinds of offenses and attains Shuddha Bhakti. Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati has accepted this dham as non-different from Sri Vrindavan. In fact, in some places, he has shown that it is even more glorious. 7. How should one ascertain whether one's level of wealth acquirement is favorable to one's sadhana practice or not? Right? Because number 7, what is number 7? Is to, um, no, number 8 and the 64 limbs of Angas of Bhakti is to accepting only as much money and other facilities as are required to sustain one's life. So, one who is qualified for Vaidhi Bhakti may earn his livelihood by some proper means according to Varnashram Dharma. It is beneficial to accept wealth according to one's necessity. Accepting more than necessary results in attachment, which gradually destroys one's bhajan. It is not beneficial to either accept less than necessary, because the resultant scarcity will also weaken one's bhajan. Therefore, as long as one is not qualified for complete detachment, one is not nirapeksha, one should accept wealth and so forth to maintain one's life and to follow Shuddha Bhakti. So you don't want to be too poor or too rich, just enough so that we can focus on our bhajan. Vijay, what does it mean to give up miserly behavior? Babaji, we must collect suitable items for food and shelter during our sojourn in this life. There is difficulty if we fail to obtain these items, and also if we obtain them and then lose them again. Therefore, we should not be perturbed when such miseries occur. Instead, we should keep remembrance of Bhagavan within our minds. So miseries are bound to happen to us. We're bound to lose things, lose things which we have obtained and all that. But we should not be perturbed. We should just keep remembrance of Bhagavan within our minds. We have no control over that. So, but we can control what we focus our minds on. So we should just focus it on Bhagavan. Okay, 8. What occurs when bhaktas who have not yet attained bhav associate with people who are averse to Krishna? Um, okay, anyways, did we read this? I can't even remember. When bhav appears, bhakti becomes very strong and deep. But so long as bhav has not arisen, it is necessary to give up the association. No, we're going to read this right now. All right, sorry. Okay, so now Vijay asks, please tell us in detail. Vijay Kumar, it's the maternal uncle of Vajranath. So he asks, please tell us in detail about giving up the association of people who are averse to Krishna. Babaji, Raghunath Das Babaji. When bhav appears, bhakti becomes very strong. And then remember, these next 10 are all prohibitions. So when bhav appears, bhakti becomes very strong and deep. But so long as bhav has not arisen, it is necessary to give up the association of people who are opposed to bhakti. The word sangha, association, indicates attachment. Sangha does not mean being near other people and holding conversations with them. Sangha takes place when there is attachment in that proximity and conversation. It is quite wrong to associate with people who are averse to Bhagavan. After bhav has arisen, one never has any desire to associate with such people. Consequently, those with the adhikar for Vaidhi Bhakti should always stay away from such association. The creeper of bhakti, the bhakti lata, becomes dried up by aversion to Krishna, just as polluted air and too much heat destroy trees and plants. That's an important point, though, isn't it? When whenever we use the word sangha, it's not about physical proximity, it's about attachment. So sadhu sangha means we are following the sadhus, and by following the sadhus, you become attached to them. And so then there's real sangha. And it's not just about physical proximity. I could be in the presence of sadhus, but I'm still listening to all the podcasts, and I'm actually developing attachment for all these other people, and not developing attachment for the sadhu. And so then I'll be associating with those people. It's not, yeah. See, this is my weakness is I listen to different podcasts and different people like that, read different non-devotional books and stuff like that. And I like the authors and the people that I listen to. So then that's sangha with that person. But you could be out in the world and it doesn't mean like giving up bad association doesn't mean that you shouldn't, like you have to be in bad association physically to get on with life. You have to go to work and you have to deal with different family members and like that. And you should be civil and have nice dealings with everybody, but that's not sangha with them. It's the attachment. Okay. Um, Vijay, who are those people who are averse to Krishna? Babaji. There are four kinds of people who are averse to Krishna. Those who are devoid of Krishna bhakti and are attached to sense enjoyment, so those are the Vishayis. Then those who are attached to associating with women, Stri Sangi, and the opposite for women, those women who are attached to associating with men. Those whose hearts are polluted by Mayavad philosophy and atheism, and those who are entangled in karma. One must give association. One must give up the association of these four kinds of people. One should never become attached to any of these kinds of people. The Vishais, those who are attached to the opposite, associating with the opposite sex, those whose hearts are polluted by Mayavad or atheism, and those who are um, fully engaged, entangled in karma and just fruit of activity. Vijay. Now, what should we know about not accepting unqualified people as disciples? That's the 12th anga of bhakti. Babaji. It is a great fault to accept many disciples in order to gain wealth. To make many disciples, one must also accept those who do not have shraddha. But it is an offense to accept unfaithful people as disciples. Only those who have shraddha are qualified to be disciples. Others are not. Vijay. What is the significance of giving up pretentious efforts and arranging festivals and so on? This one is interesting. I just want to see what it is original, like I'm just looking in the book. Okay, so the 13th anga of bhakti is renouncing pretentious endeavors such as pompous festivals, etc. Babaji. Briefly, one must perform Bhagavad Bhajan and maintain one's life at the same time. If one engages in extensive material activities, he becomes so attached to them that he cannot fix his mind in bhajan. And the way I'm understanding this also, um, I think if even with devotional projects, if you make such a grand devotional project that you find yourself just thinking about that project and not able to focus on your own spiritual practice, then that's something that you should give up. And that's very relevant to me. Like sometimes I'd get so absorbed in um, trying to make things like work out for the Gaudiya Kirtan app. And so I would some years ago I would like it was making presentations and I was making all these huge plans and I was getting so absorbed in that I was not focusing on the most important thing. So I think for that, even devotional projects and stuff like that, we should um, yeah, we should never let it get in the way of our spiritual practice. Vijay, what about giving up studying, teaching, and interpreting various kinds of books? Babaji, the Shastras are just like the ocean. It is good to study with discrimination books on the subject on which we require to take instruction. But we will not get full knowledge on any subject by reading fragments of numerous books. Especially, say, especially intelligence related to Sambandha Tattva, our knowledge of our relationship, um, will not arise if one does not fix his mind in studying attentively the Bhakti Shastras. Be careful to take only the direct meaning of the Shastras, for indirect interpretation, in other words, speculation, leads to the opposite conclusion. Vijay, what does it mean to give up miserly behavior? That's the 15th Anga. Babaji, we must collect suitable items for food and shelter during our sojourn in this life. There's difficulty if we fail to obtain these items, and also if we obtain them and then lose them again. Therefore, we should not be perturbed when such miseries occur. Instead, we should keep remembrance of Bhagavan within our minds. I gave this advice just few paragraphs above. It's interesting, huh? Um, okay. Vijay. How can one be saved from lamentation, anger, etc.? It's the 16th one. Babaji. If one's consciousness is full of sorrow, fear, anger, greed, and madness, Shri Krishna's spurti, Shri Krishna's manifestation will not appear. It is natural to feel sorrow and illusion when one is separated from friends or when obstacles prevent us from fulfilling our desires. But it is not proper to remain under the sway of this sorrow and illusion. One will certainly feel separation when separated from a son, but one must remove this sorrow through remembrance of Sri Hari. In this way, one should practice fixing the mind on Sri Bhagavan's lotus feet. Vijay. So when we see ourselves coming under the control of all these different emotions like anger, sadness, all that, that's when we should all the more there's like necessity for focusing our mind on Sri Hari, reading the scriptures and being with devotees, doing kirtan and all these different processes that help focus our mind on Sri Hari. That's when we need it the most. So when we're angry, when we're sad, all these different emotions. Vijay, You have said that one should not disrespect the devatas. Does that mean that we should perform their puja? Babaji, we must have undeviated bhakti towards Sri Krishna, who is the root devata of all the devas. One should not worship any other devatas, thinking them to be independent of Sri Krishna. At the same time, one should not be disrespectful to others who offer puja to these devatas. One should respect the devatas, understanding them to all be servants of Sri Krishna. But one should always only remember Krishna. Undeviating bhakti will not rise in the jiva's heart until it is free from material qualities. One whose consciousness is covered by the gunas, sattva, raja, and tama, will perform puja of the devata of the particular guna, the particular mode of nature by which he is influenced. And he will have a particular faith, he'll have nishta according to his qualification. Therefore, one should be respectful towards the worshipable devatas of different persons. By the mercy of these devatas, the consciousness of these worshippers will gradually become free from material qualities. And the way I'm understanding this also is just anybody of any faith in the world. Like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote a song, Keno ar koro dvesh, videshi jana bhajane. There's people who are worshipping the Lord in all sorts of forms. All different religions and like that. They are all, but we should have respect for these people, and understands that they are all, on a progressive path. Eventually, they'll come to the path of bhakti if they continue making sukriti like that. So Vijay, please explain about not giving anxiety to other living entities. Babaji, Shri Krishna is very quickly satisfied with one who maintains a compassionate mood towards other jivas, and who does not give them any kind of anxiety through his body, mind, or words. Compassion is the main dharma of the Vaishnavas. Vijay, how does one abandon offenses in seva aparad, and in chanting Shri Harinam, nam aparad? Babaji, one must very carefully give up the seva aparads in deity worship, archan, and nam aparad in general bhakti. There are 32 kinds of seva aparad, including entering the temple wearing shoes or sitting in a palanquin. And there are 10 kinds of nam aparad, including blaspheming saints and disrespecting Sri Guru. One must certainly abandon these two categories of aparads. Vijay, you have said that we should not tolerate hearing blasphemy of Bhagavan and his bhaktas. Does that mean that we should fight with the blasphemer? What happens if we do happen to be where there's any blasphemy of Bhagavan or his devotees? Then should we fight with the blasphemer? Babaji, those who blaspheme Sri Krishna and the Vaishnavas are opposed to Sri Krishna, and their association should be given up in any way possible. Interesting. Vijay, you mentioned that these 20 angas of bhakti are especially significant. What is the connection with the other angas? Babaji, the remaining 44 angas are included within the 20 angas that I have just described. They have also been presented as different angas in order to explain them in detail. The 30 angas from item 21, accepting the symbols of Vaishnava, to item 50, offering one's dearest possessions to Krishna, they are included on the path of deity worship, of archan. Okay, so first 10 was the preliminary angas of bhakti, and the next 10 were the prohibitions, and now the next 30 are all to do with archan. Okay, so up to 50, we're reading about archan. 21. Accepting the symbols of a Vaishnav means wearing a necklace of tulsi beads around the neck and applying tilak on 12 parts of the body. 22. Wearing the letters of Sri Krishna Nam means writing the names Hare Krishna or the names of the Panchatattva on the main parts of the body with sandalwood pulp, chandan. I've never done that before, actually. I think you can get stamps with the names on them like that. Probably should. Yeah, I want to do that now. 23. The Srimad Bhagavatam 11.646 recommends that we accept the deity's remnants, nirmalya. There's this verse, Tvayopa bhuktasara gandha vaso lankara charchita uchishta bhojino dasas tava mayam jayemahi. Wearing the remnants of garlands, sandalwood paste, chandan, clothes, and jewelry that you've worn, and taking the remnants of your food, we, your servants, will certainly be victorious over your Maya. That's nice, huh? So all these different remnant items, the garlands, sandalwood paste, clothes, anything, any remnants, the food, all of these things are helping us conquer Maya. We should always feel this is our protection. Yeah. This will certainly be victorious over your Maya with all these items. 24. Dancing before the deity of Krishna. 25. Offering prostrated obeisances, dandavat pranam. Oh, and we just went over dandavat pranam before, but I'm now some devotees shared with me what are the eight types of, like, it says Ashtanga dandavat pranam. So the Ashtanga are the hands. These are all considered one. There's no. Well, I'll go from bottom up. Feet, knees, hands, um, hands. Oh, I think Subal's letting in Paramaganda. Sorry. Paramaganda. Sorry. Hands, chest, mind, speech, and eyes. So we close our eyes when we offer pranam, and we say something. We should say a prayer or the pranam mantra or the name of the object we're offering pranams to, and our minds. We should be fully absorbed and focused on who we're offering pranam to. That's Ashtanga pranam. I'm gonna sit down on the ground just to be. One second. Let me just move over. Sorry, guys. One second. All right. There. Let me just get something on the ground. Okay. There. Let's continue on. Okay. So now 26, standing up when one sees Sri Vigraha coming. Yeah, standing up when one sees Sri Vigraha coming. 27, following behind the deity in procession. 28, going into the temple of Krishna. 29, parikrama means to circumambulate the deities at least 3 times, keeping them on one's right side. 30, archan means performing worship, puja of the deity, Srimurti, with different articles. 31, paricharya means performing seva for Sri Krishna just as for a king. What are you doing? Licking my screen like crazy. Okay, so we worship Krishna, performing seva for Krishna just as he's a king. When we're worshiping our Vigraha, we should worship him like he's a king. Paricharya to sevopakaranadi parishkriya tata prakirnaka chatra Vaidhī-sādhana upasana. That's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-61. This paricharya is of 2 kinds. One is to clean the paraphernalia and to perform worship. And the other is to perform seva with a chamar, to hold an umbrella, to play musical instruments, and so forth. There's no need to explain the next few angas separately in any detail. Okay, paricharya. That's interesting though, huh? When we clean the paraphernalia, that's also paricharya, and we perform worship. So we should clean the articles of Thakurji very nicely. It's part of the worship. Okay, so now the next few angas, you'll just say them briefly. 32, singing. 33, congregational chanting of Sri Harinam. 34, 34. Humbly expressing one's mind in words. 30. Sorry. Humbly expressing one's mind in words, vigyapti. 35. Chanting japa and mantras with achman 3 times a day. 36. Reciting shlokas. That's stava pat, that glorifies Shri Krishna. 37. Accepting and respecting foodstuffs offered to Shri Krishna. Naivedya. 38. Tasting with devotion the water that has bathed Shri Krishna's lotus feet. 39. Relishing the fragrance of incense and garlands that have been offered to Shri Krishna. 40. Taking darshan of Shri Murti. 41. Touching Shri Murti. 42. Seeing the performance of the Arati ceremony. 43. Hearing the glories of Shri Krishna's Nam, Rup, Gun, Lila, and Kantha. 44. Experiencing Shri Krishna's mercy everywhere and in all circumstances. 45. Contemplating Shri Krishna's Nam, Rup, Gun, and Lila within the mind. 46. Thoroughly meditating on Shri Krishna's Nam, Rup, Guna, and Lila, and offering service in the mind, Manasi Seva. These few angas are quite clear. 47. There are 2 kinds of servitorship, 2 kinds of dasya. That's offering the results of one's activities and being a servant. 48. There are 2 kinds of sakyam, that which is based on faith, vishvas, and that which is based on an attitude of friendship, maitri. I wonder, one is based on maitri and one is based on vishvas. Okay, now 49. The significance of the word atma nivedanam comes from the word atma. From this come 2 principles of egoism. From this come the 2 principles of egoism of the embodied soul, namely, attachment to the dehi, the possessor of the body, in the form of ahankta, I-ness, and attachment to the deha, the body, in the form of mamata, my-ness. Atmanivedan means to offer these 2 principles to Sri Krishna. In Sharanagati, when we're going through the Sharanagati songs, some songs were Dehi Atmanivedan and some were Deha Atmanivedan. One was offering the sense of being the possessor of the body, and the other was everything related to my body and everything related to it. They were categorized in 2 separate ways by my Param Gurudev. Okay, so Vijay, will you please explain these 2 terms more clearly? The egoism of the embodied jiva, dehi nishta ahankta, and attachment to the body and to things connected to the body, deha nishta mamata. So dehi nishta mamata, ahankta, and deha nishta mamata. 2 separate things. This is the egoism of the embodied jiva and attachment to the body and things connected to the body. So what are the difference between these 2? Babaji, the jiva within the body is called the dehi. He is embodied, or the self, aham. Acting with the false consciousness of I is called dehi nishta ahankta, the egoism of the embodied jiva. And the consciousness of possessing the body or things that are related to the body is called deha nishta mamata, attachment to things connected with the body. These 2 principles of I and mine are both to be offered to Sri Krishna. Atmanivedan means to relinquish the consciousness of I and mine and to take care of the body, with the consciousness, I am Krishna's servant. I take Krishna's prasad. I use this body in Krishna's service. Vijay, how should we offer to Krishna things that are dear to us? Babaji, when we accept the things of this world that are very pleasing to us, we should first offer them to Krishna. That is what Srila Rupa Goswami means by offering the dearmost things to Sri Krishna. Okay, so those were the next 30, which Raghunath Das Babaji said were all under the category of archan. Now, how should we perform all endeavors for Krishna's sake? Babaji, Performing all endeavors for Sri Krishna's sake means that one should perform all material activities and all activities in regulated devotional service that are favorable for service to Sri Krishna, for Sri Hari Seva. Vijay, how can one accept shelter in every way? So Babaji, taking full shelter, Sharanagati, means to express the mood, "Oh Bhagavan, I am yours. Hey Bhagavan, Tavai Basmi." And, "Oh Bhagavan, I am taking shelter of you. Hey Radhe, hey Krishna, Tavai Basmi." We say we take full shelter of them, expressing that in the mind and out loud. In our mind, we should think, "Bhagavan Tavai Basmi, hey Radhe, hey Krishna, Tavai Basmi." In the mind and out loud. Babaji, how does one perform service to Tulsi? Tulsi Seva. That's number 53 in the 64 limbs. Babaji, there are 9 ways of performing Tulsi Seva. Having darshan of Tulsi, touching Tulsi, remembering Tulsi, performing kirtan of Tulsi, offering obeisances to Tulsi, hearing the glories and pastimes of Tulsi, planting Tulsi, looking after Tulsi, and performing daily worship, the Nitya Puja of Tulsi. Vijay, how should one respect the Shastras? That's number 54. Babaji, Shastras that establish Bhagavad Bhakti are the real Shastras. Srimad Bhagavatam is the best of all these Shastras because it is the essence of all Vedanta. Those who taste its nectarian mellows have no ruchi for any other Shastra. Vijay, what are the glories of Krishna's birthplace, Mathura? What are the glories of Krishna's birthplace, Mathura? Babaji, all desires are fulfilled by performing the following activities in relation to Mathura: hearing, chanting, and remembering, desiring to go there, seeing, having darshan, touching, residing there, and serving. You should know that Sri Dham Mayapur is also of exactly the same nature as Mathura. Vijay, what is the purport of serving the Vaishnavas, Vaishnav Seva? Babaji, Vaishnavas are very dear to Bhagavan. So when we serve the Vaishnavas, we obtain bhakti towards Bhagavan. It is said in the Shastras that worshipping Sri Vishnu is greater than it is said in the Shastras that worshipping Sri Vishnu is greater than worshipping all the Devatas. But greater than the worship of Vishnu is worshipping the Vaishnav, who is his servant, who is his sevak. Vijay, what is the meaning of observing festivals according to one's means? Babaji, Mahotsav really means collecting articles according to one's means and using them in Bhagavan's service. Using them in Bhagavan's service and in his temple for the service of pure Vaishnavas. There is no greater festival than this in this world. There's no greater festival than this in this world. Vijay, how should we respect the month of Kartik? Babaji, the month of Kartik is also called Urja. Respecting Urja means performing seva of Sri Damodar by following the angas of bhakti such as Shravan and Kirtan in a regulated way during this month. Vijay, how should one observe Krishna's birthday? Babaji, Sri Janma Yatra means observing the festivals of Krishna's appearance day on Krishna Ashtami in the month of Bhadrapad, and of Mahaprabhu's appearance day on the full moon day, Purnima, of the month of Falgun. Surrendered bhaktas must certainly observe these festivals. Babaji, how should one faithfully serve and worship Paricharya Sri Murti with opulence suitable for a king? I thought that was already a topic. Didn't we just read that? Anyways, I'll have to look back on that. Then Babaji, loving enthusiasm is very necessary in the service and worship of Sri Murti. Krishna gives not only the insignificant fruit of mukti, but also the great fruit of bhakti to those who perform seva puja of Sri Murti with great enthusiasm. Vijay, what does it mean to relish Srimad Bhagavatam in association of Rasik Bhaktas? That was Rasikai Saha. What is it? Anyways, Bhagavat Anushilana, something like that. Srimad Bhagavatam is the very sweet ras of the desire tree of the Vedas. By associating with people averse to ras, one will be unable to taste the ras of Srimad Bhagavatam, and the result will be aparad. One must taste the ras of the shlokas of Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of those who are rasagya, who are conversant with, and are drinking that ras, and who are qualified for Shuddha Bhakti. Speaking or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam in general assemblies will not award pure bhakti. Vijay. What is the association of bhaktas who are of the same mood, swajatiya, and affectionate, snigdha? Babaji. Associating with abhaktas, non-devotees, in the name of satsanga will not bring elevation in bhakti. The goal that bhaktas desire is to obtain service in Krishna's aprakrit, unmanifest lila. And one who has this desire should be known as a bhakta. Elevation in bhakti comes from associating with members of this group of bhaktas who are superior to oneself. Without this sangha, the development of bhakti stops, and one acquires the nature of the class of people with whom one has sangha. In relation to sangha, Hari Bhakti Sudhoday 851 says, Yasya yat sangati pungso manivat satar guna swa kularde tato dhiman swa yutanyeva sangshrayet. Just as a jewel reflects the colors of objects around it, similarly, a person's nature becomes like that of those whom he associates. Therefore, one only becomes a pure sadhu by the association of pure sadhus. Sadhu Sangha, the association of advanced bhaktas, is beneficial in every way. Where Shastra gives advice that we should be free from mundane companionship, the purport is that one should associate with sadhus. Okay, I see it is 1 minute past 8. How much longer is this? It's just like a few paragraphs. Should we finish it? It'd take 5 minutes to read, or less than 5 minutes. I'm just going to finish. If anybody needs to leave now, you can listen on the replay. Sorry, I did way too long of an introduction. So, what is meant by Nam Sankirtan? That's the 63rd anga of Bhakti. Babaji. Nam is a prakrita chaitanya ras, a transcendental living mellow. And within Nam, there is not any sense of mundane consciousness. When the devoted jiva becomes purified through bhakti and renders service to Sri Hari Nam, and Sri Nam personally manifests on his tongue. Nam cannot be accepted with material senses. This is how one should incessantly perform Nam Sankirtan, either alone or with others. Babaji, by your mercy, we have already understood something about Mathura Vas, living in Krishna's birthplace Mathura. Now please explain the essence of these instructions. Babaji, amongst the 64 angas, these last 5 are most exalted. If one establishes even a slight connection with them and keeps aloof from offenses, then the state of bhav will arise by their unlimited wonderful influence. Vijay, kindly tell us if there is something more that we should know in relation to this process. Babaji, the Shastras sometimes describe some intermediate fruits of these angas of bhakti in order to create ruchi and bhajan in those who are extroverted and impious, for materialistic people. However, the main fruit of all these angas is to develop attachment to Krishna. All the activities of one who is knowledgeable and expert in bhakti must be within the angas of bhakti and not within the angas of karma. The practice of knowledge, gyan, and renunciation, vairagya, may sometimes assist somebody to enter within the temple of bhakti. But gyan and vairagya are not angas of bhakti because they may assist somebody in entering the temple of bhakti, but they are not angas of bhakti because they make the heart hard. Whereas bhakti is very soft and tender by nature. Padmakant is peeing right next to me. I don't want. Okay, there. Bhaktas accept the Gyan and Vairagya that manifest of their own accord through the practice of bhakti. But Gyan and Vairagya cannot be the cause of bhakti, and bhakti easily awards that knowledge and renunciation. Bhakti easily awards results that knowledge and renunciation cannot give. So, oh yeah. Sorry, did I disappear? Um, sorry, that was Padmaganda hit something on the keyboard. Okay, so sadhan bhakti gives rise to such ruchi for Hari Bhajan that even very strong attachments to sense objects, sadhan bhakti gives rise to such ruchi for Hari Bhajan that even very strong attachment to sense objects decreases and vanishes. The sadhak must always practice yukta vairagya and always stay away from the spirit of deceitful renunciation. Falgu vairagya. Yukta vairagya means to accept all paraphernalia according to need and in a detached mood, knowing it to be related to Krishna. If things are actually related to Sri Hari, it is artificial to renounce them as worldly because of greed for mukti. This is called falgu vairagya. Therefore, adhyatmika jnana and falgu vairagya should be given up. Sometimes bhakti is displayed to acquire wealth, disciples, and so on, but this is far from pure bhakti. In fact, such a show of bhakti is not actually an anga of bhakti at all. Discrimination, vivek, and other qualities are also not angas of bhakti. They are qualities of the practitioner of bhakti. Similarly, yam, niyam, good conduct, cleanliness, and so on are naturally present in people who are favorable towards Krishna. So they are also not angas of bhakti. Qualities such as inward and outward purity, austerity, sense control, they take shelter of Krishna's bhaktas of their own accord. The bhaktas do not have to, all these qualities take shelter of Krishna's devotees of their own accord. The bhaktas don't have to endeavor for them separately. Some of the angas of bhakti that I have mentioned are principal angas, and one will attain perfection by firmly performing sadhan of any of these principal angas or of several of them. I have explained everything about Vaidhī-sādhana-bhakti in a very brief way. Now you should understand this clearly, take it to heart, and practice it with full force. When Vrajanath and Vijay Kumar heard these instructions from Babaji, they offered Shashtanga Dandavat Pranam and said, Prabhu, please deliver us. We are trapped in a deep trench of pride. Babaji Mahashai replied, Certainly Krishna will bestow his mercy upon you. That night, uncle and nephew returned home very late. Thus ends the 20th chapter of Jaiva-dharma entitled Prameya, Abhideya, Vaidhī-sādhana-bhakti. Sorry I went we went over time today. I also started really late, but all right. I'll just end very quickly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Jai Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Shri Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigan Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai, Jai Jaiva-dharma ki Jai, Shri Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Samagara Gaur Bhakti Vrinda ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsidevai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavataya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams. Sorry, at the end there, I got a bit distracted because of Padmaganda was doing all sorts of annoying things. Anyhow, thank you so much for joining. Dandavat pranams, Niri Haribu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Gokuleshwari Didi. Let's see. Suman Shilji, Premavati Didi, Hari Priya Didi, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantarmurti Mataji, Vidyalalasa Didi, um, Kishore Prabhu. Oh, Janardan Prabhu. Hari Bol. He says, Gita Sangsar Bhai. Yes, I know, totally. Anyhow, at least attachment to cows is better than attachment to the opposite sex. So that's that's been my but yeah, no, I am definitely, it's not good to get too attached. All right. Thank you so much for joining. Tomorrow, what is the topic for tomorrow? Let's just look at the topic and on it. Tomorrow will be Raghunuga-sadhana-bhakti. So we just completed going through Vaidhī-sādhana-bhakti. Tomorrow we'll go through Raghunuga-sadhana-bhakti. All right. Thank you so much for joining. See you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. Haribol. Here, Padmaganda. Say Haribol.